be able to come back for this.
Yeah.
So you could definitely see that in complexity, right? It's that Limp can have an awful game at times, and he's just like completely shut out. But he trusts his teammates, he trusts Moo and Chessie to be able to carry the game.
Yeah.
Yeah, we saw Z-Freak's Chen earlier this week as well. It didn't really have as much impact as we are used to seeing from him. And I kind of feel like if we're talking about strong lanes, and that goes for both teams, strong lanes and making sure that you pressure maybe the enemy a little bit with Schofield, maybe perhaps on his Zero Spirit if he gets a chance, which he probably doesn't. But and then Z-Freak fulfills the same role for complexity. There's going to be a lot of pressure on those two guys, I feel.
There is. I also think the problem is if you pick something like Chen and you're not having a great game, Chen from playing from behind is really bad.
Yeah.
And I think if you are confident in your game and you think we could beat these guys, we're going to be on the front foot, pick heroes like Chen and stuff like that. But like Cap's saying, if you want to just pick strong lanes that are like steady, then I don't think you go for necessarily something like the Chen. Because if you start to lose the lanes, it's going to get worse and worse and worse.
And that's what happened against LGD. They had a Chen and a Disruptor who both suffered from the same
play on
curse.
the front foot,
Yeah.
and it didn't happen, and it looked worse and worse. LGD kind of ran away with it that game. Didn't they give the LGD, they gave him SF, and he just kind of destroyed them?
Yeah, Shadowfin and Sven, I believe. There was Ame free farming Sven. That's one of those heroes that is can kind of be on a timer, especially if you're going to play from behind. You want to be able to pressure him early on. All right, so supports are very important. Let's find out what we're going to have here in the first game as the draft is on the way.
These guys have also had a day, remember, Sheebs. These guys have also had a day off, if you like, to pub and to watch and reflect.
Yes. They haven't. We're going to start out with some bans.
I think another thing about Infamous is that you can be a lot more, if you're going to be sacrificial with any of your lanes, be sacrificial with Stingers. Try and bolster Papita and Kotaro as much as possible. And that's going to be primarily Schofield's job as sort of the playmaking 4 position. You want to enable his game as well. Excel, I think, has a more passive impact on the game. Much better at focusing on just protecting Kotaro. Like a Dazzle or something. We've seen a couple Dazzles so far in this tournament. It's kind of interesting.
I think it's been bad so far, honestly. I think we've seen a lot of, I guess we've seen quite a few brews in the same game. And also, I don't know, we've just seen some Dazzles. I like Dazzle, don't get me wrong, he's a useful hero. Weave is really good. The Grave is really good. But we've also seen quite a few Dazzles just not have anywhere near the impact of, say, when we've seen like Disruptor, Sand King.
Yeah.
Those two have way more impact, I feel, than a Dazzle.
I personally would look at this as a race to Naga Siren. Infamous did run that Naga Siren strategy with the Disruptor. They did not value the hero as much. I hope that they go back looking at some of these other games and value the Naga Siren a lot higher because there's a reason that so many of these other teams are running it right now. It's like one of the ultimate team fight supports.
Yeah. I do wonder if Infamous are basically, they technically weren't even meant to be here. Right?
Yeah, they are third in line.
They're free rolling, so they're just like, well, it doesn't matter what happens. We weren't even meant to qualify. We should have been at home, so we'll take whatever we get from this. And I feel maybe some pressure is off. Yeah. Complexity obviously had to qualify and stuff, and now, they don't want to waste that time. So maybe there's a little bit more pressure on them than there is on Infamous.
There is still a lot of supports left in the pool. There's Bane, Disruptor.
Bane's banned.
There is, oh, you're right. There's still the SF and Witch Doctor. I know Witch Doctor really like or Complexity really like the Witch Doctor versus the Tiny for the Maledict. They think it's a really solid counter to it.
We've seen some really good Witch Doctor performances, actually.
Yeah. I like it.
He's one of my favorites. A great hero.
We still haven't seen a Lion, though.
Yeah, get the Lion out. Just give it a try. I want to see this slow in action. We haven't got any PCs to pub on here, so I want to see it. This is the only way I get to watch StarLadder.
I was thinking Tusk, but instead they go StarLadder. Which is kind of interesting. The difference between these heroes would be that StarLadder puts a lot more emphasis on physical damage, both because his Crush deals out physical damage as well as the Amplify. So maybe they plan on running aggressively into the Tiny, since they did leave out the Tiny as sort of a bait.
Yeah.
Perhaps they plan on exploiting that hero because he starts off with 0 armor. And he's also very good at 1v1ing against offlaners, so you're incentivized to go aggressively into that hero and not leave a solo offlaner.
Do you
Let's
think
see
it'll be
what Infamous
offlane
goes for.
Slaughter or?
No, I
offlane
think it's
Tiny?
a 4-position StarLadder, but it will be roaming to bottom lane, and they'll probably have some sort of. Not sure what offlaner you pick against Tiny, but maybe they even aggro tri lane. Maybe they even pick up like not Razor because it's banned, but something that can go into the Tiny's lane.
Schofield did very well on his Earth Spirit, so that should be his hero in this.
Yes.
He was good, landing all kinds of good shots, good skill shots, and constant thorn in the side. But I don't know. Complexity's first two, they're both. I think both these starts are pretty solid. I would like to see Naga Siren banned because I am sick to death of seeing it, and it's just kind of a boring hero, I think.
I would also say that maybe they should ban away Stinger's best hero in the Sand King. Instead, they banned the PL. Phantom Lancer has been really favored by Infamous. I think there was a string of games where they were losing to Phantom Lancer a lot, and they just kind of got fed up with it and realized like how strong the hero is, and started picking it.
I'm wondering if we've actually seen a PL win yet in this tournament. We've seen it picked a few times. I'm not sure it's won.
Good question.
I'm actually not sure if PL's won yet. Unfortunately, we lack a statsman.
One thing's for sure is that Complexity probably don't want to run a PL themselves with a Tiny on the enemy team.
Seen a few DPs. Gives them some good push. Strong in lane, doesn't really have to worry too much about. I don't think DP needs to be babysat too much because she can always sit back and farm with the swarm.
Yeah, you're completely right. It's like Death Prophet is one of those mids that is usually picked up where they, like Spirit Breaker, Earth Spirit, these kind of heroes that usually roam into mid are a lot less effective because they're essentially big tanky heroes that get on top of Death Prophet and she just Spirit Siphons them. So
yeah.
She has a lot more survivability than most other mids when it comes to this 4-position ganks.
And she takes the tower nice and early, gets money for everybody, gives them some push to play around. I also think, generally speaking, when her ult is up, it's like breathing room for your team. Nobody wants to fight into you too much when the DP ult is up. As long as you don't waste it. Saw her a few times the other day. Another Dazzle pick.
PL has a
People love this
50%
hero.
win rate, by the way.
PL has a
50% win rate.
50%, so he has won in this tournament.
He has.
Yeah.
Yes.
Dazzle Earth Spirit is a good combination just because their Spirit gets on top of somebody. Gives a little bit easier to do heal damage with the Dazzle. I wouldn't be surprised.
I didn't watch every game, so that's probably why I don't remember it. But
Infamous in the past have picked up a lot of Quap and Puck, both heroes that provide a lot of burst damage against the Death Prophet. I personally don't like it. I don't think those heroes are very strong right now.
yeah,
but it is
especially
Infamous
we've seen
flavor.
Puck a few times, and it just seems to be underwhelming. I think I really like Puck. Like I love playing Puck. Don't get me wrong, but I think he's actually he or she, whatever
It,
Puck is,
yeah.
is I think just the damage isn't quite there. You kind of she's squishy. She's fun, but I don't know if she has as much impact as other heroes. I mean, would you rather have a Puck or an SF? I think that's the question.
Yeah, I really like SF.
I
a
have to
lot more
correct
here for
myself.
Infamous.
The Phantom Lancer has been 50% win rate if you include the qualifiers.
Okay.
But this week it's just 4 times picked, 4 losses.
There you go.
So
I
were
knew
right
it.
there.
I knew
Yeah?
it, God damn
My
it.
bad, my bad. I'm
That's
still
all right,
new to this
Chiefs.
stats thing,
But you know what? That's probably why they're picking it, is because if they saw it in the qualifiers or they played it in the qualifiers
Yeah.
and had some success, they're like, let's pick PL. That worked last time. Or let's ban it. So
You know what they could do is
And time.
do a Tinker strategy with this 5 banning that is coming out from Complexity. They're doing the Complexity Smash, the we just 5-ban and run into your towers. Tinker is probably one of the best cores to simultaneously de-push a little bit and protect towers, protect high ground, while simultaneously being able to shove out the side lanes, which is going to be a big problem, I think, for Complexity with this lineup so far. They don't have a whole lot of lane shove. I don't think, if you're Infamous, you do not want to team fight into this lineup a whole lot. If you do, you're going to have to play super fast and really abuse Exorcism and Ravage downtimes.
yeah, I think that they've got the silence from Earth Spirit, which could be big. Dazzle can save someone if they get jumped. But at the moment, yeah, I completely agree.
Ooh,
Terrorblade.
Terrorblade. We've seen him banned a lot. I don't think we've seen him picked yet.
No, yeah, I'm pretty sure we haven't seen him picked, and we've definitely seen him banned a few times. I mean, there's a hero that he needs to make sure that if Cole are going to fight, and you want to fight them back, if Metamorphosis isn't up, you cannot fight. Like, you have to dodge.
Yeah.
I mean, that's true of most Terrorblades, but against this lineup, I think, especially, he has to make sure he does that. He's going to get the StarLadder jumped, he's going to get silenced, he's going to get ravaged, so he needs to be very, very careful.
There are a lot of teams who are picking Terrorblade into Death Prophet. I think it's a combination of a few things. Direct physical damage from range for him to be able to lay into the Death Prophet. Your timings as well. Every Death Prophet exorcism push is met with a Metamorphosis. Or a Metamorphosis, whether you're meeting them and trying to fight the Death Prophet, or you're split pushing and you're taking towers. Like, you feel like you can kind of match 1-to-1 in that regard. This may mean we have a Stinger Tiny.
Right. But you know, this complexity lineup is what I was talking about when I said they just need to pick a straightforward team. I mean, this is a straightforward team. Tidehunter's safe in lane, Death Prophet's safe in lane. You've got StarLadder and Witch Doctor are both good heroes, and now, as long as they don't pick something too weirdo, they've just got a straightforward lineup. And if they think they're better than Infamous, I think they can just outplay them. I mean, that's pretty much what they're doing. Whereas I felt like in the previous game they were like overthinking it a little and trying to get a little cute. Just pick a solid team up. This is what the good teams do. They're picking stuff like Tide because they know it's super safe pick, super easy to play. I mean, yeah, there's a cooldown to play around, but it's still a blooming good spell.
There's another hero alongside the Quap and Puck that we were talking about earlier. Is very favored by Papita Mirana.
Mirana,
Mirana mid a couple times. We actually saw it earlier in this tournament with the Ags build. Seemed okay.
Yeah, no, I like Mirana a lot. I think she actually does a surprising amount of right-click damage, especially with her leap, the attack speed from that. It got tiny changes to that. I think it got nerfed a bit, but it's still blooming good. She is a really good hero. Lots of fun to play, and I think she gives you a lot of options. Hard to kill. Her ult can't be underestimated in terms of like sneak attacks and escaping from a bad situation and stuff. I think she's great. Darkseer, yes, the peanut. Get him in there. Not popular, but I like him.
I actually think Complexity should do the EG Tinker sort of build, where they do this aggro, because Tinker is so good versus Terrorblade. It deals with the side lanes really well, which is something Complexity is kind of missing right now. That would be like sort of this weird twist on what they picked up so far. The other one would be just they continue for their 5-man. They pick up a team fighting hero. You saw a Gyrocopter ban. Like, that's the kind of hero that would kind of fit into their lineup, right? It's just low cooldown, comes online early, fights.
So I thought the trouble with Darkseer and the reason why he wasn't picked up that much is that he comes online a little bit too slow.
Yes.
Why is that not a problem this game?
Oh, it's going to be a problem.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
Because Terrorblade needs stuff as well. Darkseer, I mean, I love Darkseer, but he is... You can make a lot of money very quickly with him, but until you get that money, like his skills, you kind of need to get a lot of levels, and you benefit a lot from getting items, because you have to throw your tiny peanut body right into the fray to get your vacuum and your wall off and everything like that. I do think AoE Surge is a super hype spell, and I hope I get to see it, because that is the most fun spell to see cast.
Oh, God, I think that spell's so bad.
It's amazing, dude! It's like a free centaur roll.
I think the idea behind the Darkseer was to give them like a bit more. It's a combination of like giving them team fight when they finally do go for it. They go for a vacuum, reflection, nice kind of combination. But it also puts pressure on the lanes and will shove out lanes for them really well, because we know Complexity is like they have Tide and Death Prophet. Those heroes both run at a tower and just shove.
Yeah.
Most important thing in this match for you, Ted?
For which team?
Either. Your pick.
I think Cole have a really good lineup. Don't let the TB get too fat.
Yeah.
Win the game in decent time, but don't freak out and panic and mess up like you did in the first series. Seriously.
I think that's a really good one right there. We're going to find out what's going to happen in this first game of the series. It is over to Lyrical and Luminous.
Thanks, Shiver in the panel. Lumi, my man, it's the Battle of the Americas going on right now. North versus South, Cole versus Infamous. It's a tale as old as time, really. How you feeling?
Last time this battle happened, North won, right?
I think so. I don't remember. When was the last time that these two teams met? I think that they played each other a fair amount.
In the, like, 18-something, when Civil War happened. It's my American history.
That was not Peru versus the USA. I don't believe
it's
those
still,
two countries
it's
have
still
gone
North
to war.
versus South. Close enough, you know?
I see. I thought you were actually talking about the two teams. You were just memeing it up over there. But yeah, really excited to watch this matchup. And, you know, I think that both of these teams have very, like, distinctive play styles. And I want to see how it all plays out. The Darkseer, definitely a little bit of a wrinkle for me in this. It's a hero that we haven't seen all that often.
I like it a lot.
Talk to me about it.
I like Darkseer because it gives you very strong laning. I feel like that is one of the prerequisites of picking off-laner these days. When you see things like Omni Knight, when you see things like TIE Hunter, you want to have good lane matchups. And one thing is that the Sven was picked into it, which I found very surprising. So now not only you have a favorable matchup between the Darkseer versus Sven, you even have Earth Spirit that you can put Iron Shell on and pressure the opposing support. So that's a big plus for me for the Infamous draft. I'm also very surprised that Sven was the final pick, because Sven not only does it not do well against Darkseer in the lanes, he does pretty poorly against Terrorblade, right? Because once Terrorblade gets up his Scotty, you're just perma-slowed.
Right.
So I do feel like the game plan here for Complexity is to get ahead and win the game before that point, because I feel like the late game is very favorable to Infamous.
Well, and like you said there's sort of some issues coming out of the initial laning setups. If the Darkseer is going up against or rather if the Sven is going up against the Darkseer with Earth Spirit in tow, they might not be able to get off the ground at all. And then if late game it's a problem as well, that could be some issues. But they probably have a plan. Maybe they're going to look to try and dodge that lane and send somebody else there or something.
I mean, normally that is the first mindset, is you could just dodge, but then TIE Hunter doesn't lane against Darkseer that well either, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's the same issue. It's a melee hero. Maybe TIE Hunter could just creep skip entirely and then let Darkseer creep skip, but we'll have to wait and see.
Yeah.
The last pick, Sven, doesn't look good on paper, but I'm sure Kyle has more in mind with that pick.
Well, hopefully they'll be able to get into the game there. It looks like Moo is having some issues with his computer getting set up. So we get ready to hop into this game number 1 of what's going to be a very long day of Dota 2.
Yes.
We've got 4 best of 3s online covering this first one here. And, well, the Infamous guy's looking pretty ready as well. I was totally convinced that we were going to be seeing a Kataro Huskar as soon as I saw that Dazzle 3rd pick.
I do believe that Liquid banned Huskar against Infamous when they saw the Dazzle as well.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, let's not do this. We see Dazzle. We don't want to get Huskar Dazzle.
I think a lot of people will be remembering that infamous play, if you will, from him back at the Frankfurt Major when they were on this same squad as well. I think that they have a couple of carryovers there as well. I feel like Estelle was a part of that group also. But another one of those opportunities where you have him on that standout player, this time on the Terrorblade, I believe. And then anything else that really stuck out to you in the draft? I feel like Tidehunter's been seen just across all of the regions as that guy. You stick him in a lane, you make sure that people can't walk up and take your tower.
Yeah, he facilitates a very LAN-oriented playstyle, I think. You don't really see Tide too much on online play. And then every time we come to LAN, it's just like Tide, especially closer to the end, because he's a very safe hero.
Right.
It really, he's very easy to play in that sense. Like, just 5 man up, take objectives, and his Ravage and his item choices also really kind of connotates that. Of course, we've seen TIE Hunter teams being punished. Yesterday, I think Mineski, the one game that they took off of Newbie was, am I remembering properly? I believe it was the first game where there was a Tide Newbie side. And one thing that Mineski did very well was whenever TIE Ravage is not ready, they just fought into them. And that's what exactly Infamous needs to do. When the Exorcism is not ready, when the Ravage is not ready, just take the fight to Complexity. They're quite weak.
Yeah. Saw Limp there as well. Has some items from fans that looked like on himself. And he's going to be heading out across the map. Kyle has an Observer Ward, runs into Schofield. And it looks like Infamous actually has this Earth Spirit up top for the moment. That might just be to get some vision down, though. Yeah, he has the ward on him. Do you think that he tries to lane with the Darkseer, or is he more just going to be roaming around trying to find stuff elsewhere?
I think that is going to be his first goal, laning with the Darkseer. But if it doesn't work out, if he wants to rotate, he can. I mean, I think that's the power of the Earth Spirit this game. Whereas the other Earth Spirit game, you're kind of looking to stab mid most of the time, but this game he has more opportunities with the Darkseer as well.
Yeah. StarLadder keeps on going up the hill, keeps on getting punched in the face. Finally can walk by, can drop a ward if he wants to. Although there are a lot of heroes in the area, so they spot him out a couple pings. And Kyle still just getting up in their face. Stinger gonna surge forward, takes that level 1?
Yeah, he is hoping to get this pull off, and he needs to get this pull off. I love Z-Freak getting the Maledict as well, and well, he's not gonna get the pull off, let me tell you that, and he's gonna sustain a ton of damage, and he won't have Iron Shell for laning.
He has to get this. Like, he has to go in for it. And unfortunately, if he
got
does,
the range creep, I think.
That's all that you get. That feels so bad right now for Stinger. And
well, he doesn't even get it. Well, I mean, the creeps will meet up. He will get the range creep, but who the hell cares?
yeah, Z-Freak even trying to block that one off. And, well, first blood on the other side of the map. They end up taking down Moo. So at least something going back the other way as they found Kyle for the moment and trying to punish him. The body blocks are there from Schofield. The right click's coming through, but not enough to get the kill.
Seems like both offlaners are really having a bad start. Tidehunter also took Gush, so he can't really lane as efficiently. And because StarLadder is getting his experience, this is going to be pretty rough.
Courier
Courier
ends up going
All
down. Papita, a little bit of miss micro there and loses the salve as well.
I swear I see that happen so often mid lane. These mid players just... I think Sumail comes to mind. Like, he just gets his courier snipe all the time. But mid players across the Dota 2 world, man, just micro that courier.
Yeah. Moo going to be able to find a couple of creeps for himself, getting towards that level 2. Body block, or excuse me, jukes it away as the body blocks come out from Excel, but Moo will still be able to walk away. He looks like he was maybe able to get that creep pull, though. Yeah, he pulls them off to the side, so...
Oh, gosh, for that creep.
All right. Well, taking a look at the last hits, you got ourselves about a minute and a half. Terrorblade up at the top, and everything looking fairly even. How bad is that Darkseer not getting the Iron Shell early on? Like, he's gotten his level 2 now.
He's got 0 CS. That's pretty bad.
Okay.
In fact, that is absolutely atrocious. And unlike a Tidehunter, I think Darkseer can't really walk into a lane as efficiently. I mean, Moo is also suffering quite a bit, but once he gets that first point of Kraken, he should do just fine. Until then, though, look at him getting punched.
Yeah, it's a lot of damage. Does have those boots so he can outrun some people, but needs to get to that level 2 desperately. I guess both of those heroes are fairly effective at farming in the jungle as time goes on if there's some stacks or something going on, which is maybe a little bit of a silver lining.
In fact, I say Complexity have too many people that use the stack, right? Ty could do it, Sven could do it. So unless the supports are up on their game, this is going to be pretty rough. Complexity continue to abuse this pulling tactic. But look at the neutral, though.
Oh, that's pretty sick.
Yeah.
Really well played there. They're still going to get a couple of those, but Excel actually, he can probably do a secondary pull here if he wants to. Kyle getting punched.
No.
They're not going for it. He
They lost
doesn't able to draw
anyways.
aggro. Wow, and now Stinger going to TP away.
He might die here to Maledict. There you go.
Does get ticked down, and that's also the experience. Z-Freak making it happen. So 1 kill apiece so far. Slight lead as far as the net worth is concerned towards Complexity. It's going to be Moo trying to do another one of these pulls. It's a lot of damage onto this camp, so it's going to end up dying before they're able to get away. And Kyle moving in as well. They've got some right click here if they want to go for it, but reflection on it too, and Moo is just gone. Now rolling forward, trying to find that StarLadder, and he does manage to find the crush. Infamous chasing into the river. Kataro's completely left the lane. They want to get this kill. The toss from the Tidy. They take him down.
Yep.
A double for a cell.
And Terribly even teleports back into the lane, so he doesn't even miss too much CS. So very nice move. Earlier you were asking me, what is the Earth Spirit's going to do? Is he going to, stay with the Darkseer, or is he going to help mid? Neither. I really liked Infamous's choice here, because normally if the Earth Spirit isn't here, then the Tide and the StarLadder get to continuously make these pull. But because he and Dazzle are so persistent, StarLadder is a level 1, Tide's like 2.5. They're very low level because of the Very well played. Schofield, Earthsphere just kind of running chaos.
Yeah, and you look over there at that hard camp that was up in the top lane as well for the Dire side.
Yeah.
They were able to simultaneously take away a lot of that farm that the Tidehunter was trying to get. So they got a couple of those range creeps. They keep on pulling over and over again. Some good stuff.
Yeah. Normally, Tidehunter gets that gush at level 1 because it's so efficient, knowing the fact that you'll get level 2 and 3 very quickly because of the pulls. But the support play, again, have done it so well that level 1 in Gush, I think he's really regretting it because that Gush means, less levels of Kraken Show and more damage that he's taking in lane.
Now, the plus side of this is that it has meant it's been a Death Prophet versus Tiny lane pretty much exclusively.
Yeah.
And DP is just completely outplaying Pepita here.
Not only that, the Darkseer is getting completely trashed as well. So as well, ooh, toss back here, maybe kick into the tower. No, it's going to be just a stun, and now it's going to be Pepita in a lot of trouble. Maledict's on him. He is going down to the last Maledict tick.
Yeah, and this is a real problem right now. Limp is level 6 at 5.5 minutes, and Schofield might just go down if he's not careful. There's going to be a roll away. But God, there's a lot of damage coming out from this DP already.
Yep.
He's 2 levels ahead of Pepita.
And the bottom lane, as I was mentioning before the mid-action happened, is also not looking too good for Darkseer. Darkseer has finally some CS, but look at the number of denies on this Sven. He's got 22 denies. I mean, generally you will have a high number of denies versus Iron Show, because, it's pretty easy to deny versus Iron Show, but still, this Sven is controlling the bottom side.
I mean, that's the thing. You sort of put Mu in this position where he's going to lose the lane, but you win the other 2 pretty hard.
Yep.
And it's going to be a lot on the back of Kataro playing on this Terrorblade. In fact, another movement in. Pepita rotating with level 5, and they're going to try and take down this Tidehunter. It's going to happen. Haste Rune, very effective. As bottom lane, they find the Darkseer yet again. Chessie chasing, not finding the kill. He does have another couple of Maledict on him, but the raindrop should keep him alive.
Yep. I do feel like Infamous is maybe putting too much emphasis on the Tidehunter. I feel like getting a ton of these Tide kills, the first couple is good, but they're getting diminishing returns. And what I mean by that is that Tidehunter is nearing level 6, and that's pretty much all he cares about. Sure, if he gets like a later Meg or a later Blink, that's going to be a little bit rough for him. But unlike most other offlaners, Tide predominantly cares about level 6 more than anything else.
Right.
If you look at, by comparison, like Darkseer, right? Darkseer, not only does he want levels, he also wants his Helm of the Dominator and Soul Ring. And by killing him over and over, that's great.
And he is the same level right now as Z-Freak, who just stole away a lot of experience. They are going to try and run down this Witch Doctor here, and with Ion Shell as well as the Poison Touch, Z-Freak should take enough damage to end up falling. In fact, they're going to bring in everybody, get a little bit of extra experience for it.
I am surprised that he didn't go for the TP as soon as he saw Darkseer surging at him, because there is no stun generally available this early from the Darkseer.
Well, Mu now able to stand alone against Kataro in the lane, and as you mentioned, it's going to be Infamous trying to leave alone for a bit and make stuff happen on the other sides of the map, but that means that Terrorblade's going to run some issues farming. 2-5, 8 minutes in, and Limp at level 7 still hanging on to that point, see if he wants to go for any early Exorcism play.
Yep.
Bottom lane by that bottom rune. It looks like there might be something breaking out. They will separate as it's a DD rune for Chessie. And
oh, yeah, look at that farm.
That's what they wanted to get. Really nicely done. There's a little bit of a battle for it breaking out, and, well, this is going to be the Ancients falling, and Infamous can kind of just look on from the south as they have to head back towards the bottom lane.
I do wonder if they want to change the name of that camp from Ancients, as well as, the Uraxis also calling Ancients. And this game being Defense of the Ancients. Like, it could get confusing for some new guys.
Oh, I'm with you. I don't think so. But maybe. Infamous now realizing that Ancient stack, it is gone. They're going to block out the camp and maybe try and set up. But nobody's home mid. They're just up there on the top side and spread out across the map. Maybe Chessie comes back mid and TP's there, but we'll see.
So if this is Lacoste casting, he'll talk about how much he hates the item build on Sven right now.
Oh, yeah?
I'm going to echo his sentiment here. One of the thing about Sven is that he itemizes very quickly, and he fills his inventory slots very rapidly as a result.
Yeah.
So when you start the game off with Echo Saber, with Mask of Menace, later on you need Blink, you need BKB, you want SMY. You do run out of slots very rapidly. Top lane looks like there might be a little bit of action as Earth Spirit makes a teleport there.
Yeah, I think Infamous ended up going for the meta, but Z-Freak being there. Also spotted that rotation for a couple of heroes ended up being a pretty quick little combination. They ended up being able to go for a play, but then obviously the ward scouting out both the Earth Spirit and the Dazzle.
Yep. So things might look like a little calm right now, but I think the game is heading to a direction where Complexity is going to ramp up the pressure very much so. They're going to use these cooldown pretty much clockwork. Every time it comes off cooldown, they will get some big objectives. It'll be good for Complexity if they're able to take these tier 1s without needing to spend any ultimates, but looks like we're going to see a group up and, well, they're going to pop an ultimate right there and likely going to get that tier 1.
Pepita chasing Kyle, though. They want to find him off to the side. Vacuum a little bit late. And Kyle does get out of there, and, well, there's nothing really gained for this while this is happening.
Yep.
Down here bottom, a crush. Pepita tries to turn this one, does get the kill, but now Limp is there, runs into the Death Prophet, and that is a very quick kill into Tiny. I guess that's the other thing to mention. I don't remember who it was that I was talking to the other day, but Spirit Siphon being very effective against Tiny because of status resistance. It ends up being a good amount of damage over a shorter duration.
Yeah, well, yes and no. I've also seen people say we just toss the DP away.
Okay.
So I've seen it kind of play both ways, but it's going to comment on how high value that exorcism was, right? They used it mid, got the tier 1 tower, teleport bottom to get a kill, so very nicely done. And now Kyle, he might die for this, but look at how much chaos he's causing around the map.
They're all chasing.
He
He might just kill off Schofield. The stun silence vacuum, that keeps him alive.
Okay.
And he's thinking about it, going for the crush. Schofield's still level 6. If he rolls in there, he's dead, and Kyle's actually going to get out.
Yeah, he's fine. I feel like Kyle is just running around laughing at Infamous right now because they are spending so much time chasing the StarLadder around, and regardless whether they kill Kyle or not, it has absolutely no impact on this game. What is actually more important is the fact that
oh no, they get the crush. He takes the bounty rune, going to roll away, and now Moo TP'd back in. He's going to keep his buddy alive.
Yep.
Over and over again. He's really stepped his game up over the past while. I feel like he fits really well in this like warding support role, making space for his team.
Kyle?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think Kyle has played the best Dota I've seen him play in the last couple of years.
4 heroes up top for Infamous. They're going to get a ward up on the high ground. And we'll be able to spot out Moo. But do you really want to spend 4 heroes ganking a Tidehunter?
No.
Who has Ravage underneath
here
the
comes,
tier 1 tower.
Here comes Limp, right? Like
they're rolling in. They're going top. They find him there. He can get off a Ravage if he wants to. Not quite in time, though.
Yep.
So they do have enough burst damage to make it work. But they lose a tower in turn. And now
I think,
Exorcism.
yeah, DPO is coming right back up. They could get 2 towers here.
They're holding on to Exorcism. That's pretty scary. The fact that Chessie can just commit his first ultimate. And now moving in for more. I mean, Lumi, what's the end game here? Are they trying to take a fight now with the next one? They thinking about going high ground?
I think they want to retain it to, let's say, fight mid, for example, or take Roche. Here comes a TP back in. Moo unable to get the...
He does have Ravage available. They're wrapping, waiting for it. It's a little bit scary to go forward. The reflection is out. And now the coconut's bouncing back and forth. Need to be a little bit careful here. Meta still up. They roll in. They find themselves the Tidehunter hanging on to that Ravage if he wanted to go for it. And 5 heroes all around him. Moo looking for the opening. He connects it now. Able to connect on absolutely everybody. They get the silence. There's no grave. Out from the Dazzle. They take him down. A double for Limp. Triple for Limp. What a play from that DP.
And that's why you hold that Exorcism, because they needed bottom tier 2, and now they take a big fight. Perfect usage of the... silence from Death Prophet. I think a lesser Death Prophet player would have silenced the Terrorblade to prevent the Sunder from coming out, but he understood that they have enough damage to kill the Terrorblade before the Sunder and silence the Dazzler to prevent the Grave. That was 10 out of 10 play. We saw Mushi also letting off some very key silences yesterday when he played the Death Prophet, and Limp doing the exact same here, so very high caliber.
And, well, Pepita, a little bit upset about the situation, is going to chase down Moon. No Ravage, obviously. Still very hard hero to kill off as Kyle, again, the anchor blocking them out, moves into position and forces the rest of Infamous back. Bottom lane, maybe something a brewing, as Death Prophet spots out that Terrorblade, but with no Exorcism, seems unlikely to get anything really done. So next couple of minutes, starting to think about Roshan possibly. They've got the Solar Crest already on DP.
Yeah, not next couple of minutes, just the next minute as Exorcism is coming off cooldown. I said it earlier, whenever those ults are ready, Complexity is looking to do something. Infamous does scale better, but this is 40 minutes in the game, and Complexity is not going to give them the time to actually get to that point.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's worth noting that it's 3,000 net worth lead at 15 minutes, and Sven going to take down another little stack of Ancients for himself here.
And all of that
nearby.
3,000 lead is concentrated into the 2 cores. If you look at the net worth,
right,
the Complexity cores are so much further ahead.
All right, the Earth Spirit might have caught sight of the Sven.
I think Roche is happening right
now. Yeah, and they're going to be able to take this. Again, holding on to that DP Exorcism if a fight breaks out, but they're going to use that Sven ulti.
Yes, the Sven ulti has a much shorter cooldown by comparison, and you could arguably say that it's even better for the engagement against Roshan. So a very critical note about the new patch is that with the Roshan getting 25% status resistant, you could no longer perma-medallion / Solar Crest the Roshan, and things...
Oh, hold that thought. Stun silence, maybe a turnaround here. Pepita able to take down one. Z-Freak's gone as well.
And here comes that Exorcism being used on the backline. Dad's in a lot of trouble. He's going to grave himself. Well, that's going to be a kill. Looks like Chessie's going to pick it up, and now Lim going on the bottom side, trying to fight on the backline here. KTR is very far away from the rest of his team.
Schofield, the Ravage, it's on to 2, though. They're starting to bring him down. The silence, there's not going to be a Sunder, and they take him down this time. With Dazzle already gone, they make it work.
We are seeing the 2 teams' big difference when it comes to choosing the fights and the reasons to take these fights. Whenever Complexity are looking to take fights, they have objective in mind, right? Whenever Infamous are taking a fight, they just took Terrorblade to take a jungle fight. That's generally where you don't want to have Terrorblade taking fights. Terrorblade wants to take a fight in front of the enemy tower so that after you win the fight, you take their tier 2 or something like that.
Right.
So I just feel like Complexity is showing that they're much more vastly superior as a team, just off of strategy. Not even gameplay, just strategy.
Uh-oh. Old Stinger trying to get away here and make his way out. No glimpse or anything, obviously, since there's no disruptor in the play. But he's going to be able to escape. And looks like the Tiny might be able to set something up there onto the Witch Doctor if he comes too far forward in the top lane. But we'll be able to walk away as well. So instead, Pepita looking for that catch. Might be able to get him. Z-Freak, does he realize what's coming his way? He's got to go through the trees. This takes so long to do right here for Pepita, but he might still be able to make it work.
Z-Freak's very tanky. He's got the raindrops. He's got the Vitality booster.
Yeah,
Okay,
instead he's just going to try and get away. It's not even trying for a kill. Yeah, it hurts. This is a tough situation to be in itself. Gone in 2. Chessie is not messing around with the damage.
What's highest cooldown on Ravage? If he has it back up soon, they could just straight up high ground. Okay, never mind. 30 seconds, 45. They might still just like pop DPO and just take a, they might go at top. I just feel like the map is so open to Complexity right now. There is no threat. They could do whatever they want. They could fight wherever they want.
Yeah. Well, and the unfortunate part is that they don't really have vision right now, Infamous, to see where Complexity is. A lot of their vision is centered around the other side of the map. So Complexity are just free to roam. And Ancient Stack, another one, going the way of Chessie. It's got to hurt for Infamous. I mean, still, Kataro is a scary hero. Terrorblade, if he can get that farm up, could be an issue to deal with, but it's a 6,000 gold lead 19 minutes in.
I just don't think he'll get the time to get farm.
Yeah.
Z-Freak's going to go down here most likely, unless there's some magical casket.
The chase goes through. Pepita manages to take the kill away at the end.
Normally, as a as a Terrorblade, even if your farm isn't that fast, you could get some value from reflection. But look at the heroes that he's reflecting this game. Like, they're not providing a ton of aura. Like, you don't get much benefit from reflecting a Sven or a Death Prophet. So I feel like the Terrorblade pick was very well adjusted to by Complexity.
Yeah. Tidehunter level 13, Pipe Phase, Soul Ring. There's the funny tweet that Ice put out yesterday that Tidehunters build Arcanes instead of Phase Boots, but it seems like Mu has augmented the build with a Soul Ring in there as well.
Okay.
Gotta love to see it.
I think Phase High is actually pretty decent because there's so much minus armor in this game.
Wait a minute. Over by the Ancient stack. They're going to be able to find him. Oh, God. And again, Terrorblade goes down. And with the Exorcism popped, it might be time to do this. There's no buyback. 40 seconds on the sidelines.
This is Rax. Okay. Schofield's going to try to do a little bit of nice pulling. He's going to actually prevent the entire wave, making him follow him instead. But,
although,
well.
Complexity are going to put the kibosh on that and still able to chase this one.
Schofield's back.
Trying desperately.
All they need is like that 1 or 2 creep wave. But he has actually waited out the Exorcism, so Schofield saving that Rax.
Yeah. Putting the team on his back. It's not incredibly easy to high ground against this lineup. They've got a decent amount of team fight.
But here's the thing, right? Even if Complexity isn't high grounding, I don't think they are. Like, look at the net worth on Chessie.
Yeah.
It really helps when the other team sacks for you as well in their own jungle. Because that's really much what's happening, right? Chessie's just taking stacks.
I think he's farmed more their side of the map than on his.
Yeah. I mean, I like the idea of stacking Ancients, but you need to be able to protect them. And honestly, Infamous is not exactly well equipped to take Ancients. They only really have Tiny, right?
Yeah. Pepita again, spotting out Kyle in the bottom lane. But not an easy kill to go after for any of these heroes. And, well, he's going to try and go for it now. Toss the turn, maybe a chance. The tree, it's not quite enough. 19 HP.
That was a ballsy sprint turned on. I think he could have just walked away, but I guess he did some NA math and was not punished.
All those little things, it feels like skin of their teeth, they're getting out of there. And, well, now Infamous forced to back out again. It does force rotation backs from Complexity, so Infamous are doing a good job of defending their high ground without having to take a fight. Their movement is defending high ground.
Yep. Do you want to point out the skill build that Z-Freak has went for? Z-Freak normally the very greedy position for Witch Doctor, player for the team. Has max Maledict, and well, the combo here is Maledict plus the Soul Vessel. And you actually do a significant amount of damage.
Yeah.
Just on your own.
Completely alone here, Chessie in the mid lane. They do spot this out for the moment, and I mean, they're going to be able to find one. Taro wrapping around. Mu is there as well. They run into everybody. They pop the Ravage for this one. And, well, Infamous, they're caught for the moment. The vacuum wall down onto 2. Witch Doctor Ultimate coming out, though. It's doing so much damage to Kataro. He does have a Sunder, but Chessie comes in. Gonna finish him off as well. That's the BKB reveal. Old Stinger silence. No surge for him. And the minus armor is just massive. The Grave, it's not going to be enough. He's going to try and surge away, but he's gone.
Yep, and they still have that DP Exorcism available. I mean, there are 2 buybacks, but getting Infamous to use their buyback is just as good.
And, well, very soon they're going to be able to TP back with the Tiny, but what is he really going to be able to do in this situation? The Witch Doctor did so much damage in the fight. You were talking about it, that Maledict max.
Yeah, and he is also very tanky because of the Soul Vessel as well. So, took a lot of that right-click from Terrorblade. No problem. Complexity will take the first lane of Rax very easily. They could actually rotate top if you like and do some damage, but they're going to say Exorcism is back, or down rather, Infamous is back, so let's get out and take some buildings.
Dye in their eyes, crossing their T's, taking out the shrines, and then most likely going to wait for the next round of Aegis as Roshan has respawned. That is a very quick timer. I think that it was almost no bonus time on that one.
I'm pretty sure Chessie is setting some sort of record. on Sven at this point in the game. He is so stacked. He has, I believe, an Orchid now.
Yeah.
Which is, you know, we saw how important limb silences in these fights were. Now he could actually put one on Terrorblade or on the Dazzle, depending what the situation calls for.
Yeah, and like there's a DD as Roche respawns for them 24 minutes in. Like everything is coming up complexity. It's not just good play, but it's also a combination of that and a little bit of luck working their way. We're going to have to watch what that GPM was afterwards, because I'm sure you're right. There's something going on here for this guy. Roche falls, Aegis on the Sven, and almost level 20 at 25 minutes.
Top wave is being very shoved in right now. Complexity is taking a little bit of tower damage, but don't think they care about it too much.
Oh. Now Kyle jumps forward, pines Pepita. They got the DD. They decide instead for Chessie to go on the other side. They get the kill onto the Dazzle. They're going to be able to kite away Pepita. Really good decision making there by the Sven. They know that they're going to be able to get both of them. Now the turn, now the chase, the silence, the follow-up, and the swipe from Chessie gets the kill.
Chessie's losing GPM per minute, though. Chessie, keep it up. Keep hitting creeps.
He has had a hell of a game for himself. And like you said, it was those stealing of the Ancient stacks and then taking his own, just everything. As they're going to go for the top lane of Rax. No heroes are in there right now from Infamous. Dazzle just respawned.
Might be a base trade of some sort here, as bottom is being pushed into here as well. But
I mean, it's
not gonna. I mean, those tiny skeletons doing a little bit of work.
They do some work, definitely. Z-Freak trying to get up together with the rest of his team is going to force away Schofield. Manages to find the stun, but it's down bottom where Complexity are going to push now for another lane of Rex. Nobody from Infamous is responding. Terrorblade's back, but they find the Crush. They got him caught now and maybe in some more trouble. They're going to be able to find a silence onto the heroes that are coming to help and assist Kataro. But Kataro trying to get a Sunder off here, maybe a possibility for it.
You might guess.
They have so much damage, though, to turn back around. The Crutch, it comes out, they connect, they get a wall off as well, and now the toss as well. Katara looking for it. They find the Ravage. She's not getting the Sunder off. The right click finishes him off, and GG's called. This was a stomp and a half.
Yeah, we haven't even seen a Sunder being cast the entire game because Complexity was so good. Especially in that last team fight, we saw the little dance. Both players are running back and forth. One trying to get off the Sunder, the other trying to prevent it. And yeah, that was a very clean one for Complexity. I think the only scuffle that they had made was when they tried to defend that mid-tier 1 tower.
Yeah.
A couple of heroes showed up a little bit too early, and they died as a result. But otherwise, a very clean game from Complexity.
That man with the beanie there, a lot of net worth on him, and Limp also on that Death Prophet. You talk about that one fight that worked around their way, and you know the silence that they got onto the Dazzle. It all looks so freaking clean. Infamous, though, on the other side, I mean, the panel was talking about it, some issues that need to be resolved. What would you look to as far as like the big culprits of trying to finish up game number 2? Like, where do they go? What do they need to change?
So I like how they started the game. The top lane, they did a very good job shutting it down, but they need to transition from that. I felt like they held on to that lane a little bit too long because they need to recognize Darkseer had 0 CS, I think 2.5 minutes into the game. Tiny was getting out lane in the mid lane. They needed to send some help. That was some like next level. Or what are you laughing?
Ted like just came into shot and started waving behind you.
I see.
Anyways, we're going to go back to the panel. It's all falling apart here. It's going to be a very long day at Dota 2. Stick around, everybody. Game 2 right around the corner. Infamous Complexity.
1, 2, 3.